Hello there, a very warm welcome to Ringside after what's been another roller coaster week for our sport.
Yes, we had Amir Khan in Vegas and the league down the strip, and then we get back and I hear the devastating news of Anthony Crolla on the train.
Terrible. Glenn McCrory and Spencer Oliver have endured many ups and downs themselves. Despite Amir Khan and Andy Lee's terrific triumphs in Vegas, there's really only one place to start with Anthony Crolla.
Glenn, 4 weeks out from his fight, Anthony Crolla comes a bad accident. It's a bad thing that happens to him. Can you imagine his mindset right now?
I think it's a real shock for the whole of the boxing community, isn't it? Because Anthony Crolla, most of the fighters that we come across on a day-to-day basis are good guys. Anthony Crolla, one of the nicest guys that we know in the business, and then to go to a rescue, to go to try and help somebody after a burglary, he ends up getting a concrete block on his head, and you know he's in a bad way. So our thoughts go out to his family and him at the moment. Hope he makes a speedy recovery. On one hand, it could have been a tragedy. So you know the good thing is he's still with us.
Especially, Spencer, as he's training for the dream fight that he's worked so hard for.
And he has worked hard, hasn't he? I mean, you know, Anthony Crolla has really, you know, he's put everything into getting into the position where he is now. It's so unfortunate for him, you know, he wanted that world title shot so much, he didn't care who it was against, and then this happens, you know, devastating news for him.
In touching distance, his mindset must even now still be on the fight.
Well, I think for his family, they'll always just be thinking that he's going to be okay, hopefully, you know, everything's going to be okay, but when he reflects on it, he's so close to his dream, that opportunity for a world title fight, so close, and then you know it just shows what life's like. It can change at any moment.
Well, you know what it's like
for you, Spencer. Of course.
Absolutely, of course, and you know it's like, speaking from a fighter's point of view. You know, your dream is to fight for that world title, and he was within touching distance of it, and that's going to be the hard thing for him. You know, will he get the shot again? You know, how long will it take? It's a real setback.
I remember when I must have been a couple of weeks out from fighting Macronelli, and my knee had gone and I was on a hospital bed, and I said to the doctor, look, just wrap me up, I've got a fight in a couple of weeks. Still, I was the last person that it sunk into, and he must be exactly like that.
Well, you know, it's terrible, the fact that it's violence, you know, it's violence, somebody doing something pretty terrible. It's Christmas, somebody's gonna you know commit a robbery, and he's going, as he would do, he's that sort of guy, going to the aid, going to try and get them, and then he comes off in such a bad shape. And it really is just such a, you know, such an unfortunate thing in life that's happened that happens to anybody, but that's happened to Anthony when he's got this big fight coming up. It's heartbreaking.
It tells you the sort of character he is as well, though, doesn't it? It's like, you know, he hears a noise, goes to investigate, chases the guys down the road. How many people would really do that? You know, he's such a courageous guy.
No. Just shut the curtains, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
And just say, you know, let him get on with it, but not him, you know, going to the rescue, try and do a good turn, and then it's ended up putting him so far backwards.
Well, let's get some reaction from Manchester. Anthony's trainer Joe Gallagher joins us. Joe, gutting news, but the most important thing, is Anthony okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He's shocked, stunned, distressed and upset. And in the circumstances of what's happened, he's very lucky to be alive.
Joe, we know he's had an operation. Have you any idea how long he'll be in hospital for?
No, he's out. He's obviously had an operation on his broken foot. He's broken 2 places. Obviously, he's had stitching to his forehead, where he's had cut from his hairline to his eyebrow, and obviously he's got the fractured skull. First and foremost, we've got to make sure Anthony makes a recovery, and he gets back to 100% health again, but he's such a lucky boy.
Take us back to the incident. Obviously, you were in Vegas with us last weekend. You'd come back and presumably had Anthony in the gym again. So what actually happened? Yeah,
listen, training's been going fantastic. Anthony was training well. He was ahead of schedule 5 weeks ago. He trained well on the Tuesday morning and the Tuesday afternoon, and he was due his track session Tuesday night. But I just looked at him and I thought, nah, you're ahead of schedule here. And phoned Anthony and said, listen, forget the track, go home, have a nice evening, chill out. And sometimes it's better, less is more, and come in the gym tomorrow. And we've got another good session lined up before we start starting. Next thing I know, I get phone calls and inquiries, and then I speak and I find out Anthony has been in this horrible incident. He's come home from training. He's got arrived at 6 o'clock. The neighbours' alarm's been going off. He's phoned his neighbours to see, are they aware of it? They said no, they're out. So he said, I'll go and check in it for you. He's gone round and the back patio windows are smashed. He's shouted out and 2 burglars or 2 people have come running out. And Anthony's give chase over a few garden fences and everything else, cornered them, got hold of one. As he got hold of one, the other one's picked up a concrete slab and hit Anthony over the head with it. Anthony's gone over from the impact over on his ankle onto the floor. He choked on the night, saying he got up from it well and tried to get him again, but they'd climbed the wall and got away, and that was it. It's so severe. If that concrete slab had landed in any other type of angle, that Anthony Crolla may not have been with us now.
Wow. You're looking at Anthony. He's in denial. Is he? You know, we fighters are probably the last ones to realise. You know what? It's not that bad.
Well, Johnny, you took the words out of my mouth. I seen Anthony in the hospital, and I said to Anthony, do you know what? If you didn't have a broken ankle, you'd be looking at me with these stitches going, I'll be still all right. Give me these stitches out in a week's time, I'll still be all right for Manchester. I said, we'd be having an argument that you're not right, and it's a good job that you have got the broken ankle, because we would still be arguing now whether you're right or not for January the 23rd. And that's what he was thinking about all the time. And I think on the morning after, when we were talking, I think the realisation of everything that had happened, he was stunned and shocked the night it happened, but the next morning it was dawning on him everything and the consequences of it all, and he was very upset.
Joe, obviously, he's been through a great deal in his career to get to this point, to challenge for a world title fight, commonly known as one of the nicest guys in the sport. Your heart just goes to him, doesn't it?
Oh, unbelievable. He like all fighters, and I the weekend out, Andy Lee and Amir Khan were great role models for having the setbacks and kept persevering, and the 2 lads are great success of the weekend. And Anthony Crolla was one of that type of fighters. He's had his setbacks and he kept persevering, and he's come back, and his own magic night at the Fonsford Arena, where he'd been and watched his idols Tyson and Ricky Hatton fight there. He was about to go there himself and headline and fight for a world title, and like I say, that's gone now. And like you say, it's hard to talk about boxing when the kid's in the situation he is at the moment, but I think it's dawned on Anthony, and that's upsetting him so much.
Joe, I'll ask you the question. I probably know what the answer would be from Anthony, but do you think he'll fight again?
Listen, when you have head injuries from that, obviously he'll be having brain scans and all types of stuff, and medicals to be passed by the board, so until they have them, God only knows. That's a conversation I know the injuries sustained that we'll have to have at some point, but we're not even bearing thinking about that at the moment, Johnny.
Totally understand, Joe. Please send Anthony and his family all the very best from us here at Sky.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much, Adam, Johnny.
A very emotional response from Joe there.
It is, and it just shows you how close you are. That Joe, who's mad about boxing, that's his life. He's not talking about boxing. The boxing doesn't matter. There's bigger things, his health and his future. But it's a really tough time, tough to get through it.
Of course, his health's the only thing that matters. I mean, take me back to your situation, Spencer, when you woke up realising that it was over for you, and that the fighter inside you just wants to fight.
Absolutely. I mean, for instance, when I woke up, I still thought it was the same night. I woke up 12 days later, still thinking I was on May the 2nd. It was now the 14th. And I thought I've been knocked out, but I'll be all right. I'll be back next week, and I'll be back in the gym. And that's what I thought. And I think that's the fighter inside you. And like Joe was saying there, to react to what Joe was saying there about the broken ankle, had he not had that broken ankle, I know for a fact that's what he'd be saying. These stitches will be all right. I want my world title shot, because that's what I thought. The fighter inside you wants to carry on, and you want to do it. So, the broken ankle has probably stopped a lot of arguments in the camp.
To hit the type of guy he is, he's been hit with a concrete block. Mm-hmm. He's gone over. He's broke his ankle. He gets up and tries to give chase.
Wants to carry on.
Still, that's the fight in him. Yeah. That's why he's such a good competitor, and that's why he was going into that world title fight with a real chance of winning.
Joe's straight enough with him and close enough with him to be straight to say, look, you can't do this. If he can't do that, you expect him to be very straight with him.
You do, and he's got to be straight with him, and it's obviously going to be a massive loss. But the good thing is, he's what we're all glad about. Joe's saying he's talking, he's sitting up in bed, he's up, he's all right. So that, by the grace of God, that's the main thing. Now let him rest, let him enjoy his family. I guarantee, being the fighter that he is, he'll be back.
So you're also a trainer now. If you're in Joe's shoes, how do you deal with the next few days when he comes out of hospital? And
well, I think he's just got to tell him, he's still here to fight another day. We heard there, it could quite easily have gone the other way. Had the block landed at a different angle, we could be talking about him fighting for his life. So fortunately, he's only come out there with a cut and a broken ankle, and he lives to fight another day. And I think that's what I'll be telling him. We know that Crawler has fought so hard. He's had his knockbacks in his career. He's stuck at it. He's got to where he's got to, and the chance will come again. And I think that Joe Gallagher and the whole team up there, they're such a close-knit family. I think that they'll all pull him through. They'll all pull him through. The terrible thing, everyone.
The terrible thing, Adam, is it's what a year it's been. What a year it's been. We've had. It's almost like boxers have been a target. It's not just a one-off occasion. It's happened. With Jamie Moore, with Kell Brook. It's been. And I don't. Let's hope that's the end of it. It's almost like, if you're a fighter, you're a target for this sort of thing. They think, they pick a brig up because they think probably, he's tougher than, I need to do something more damaging. So they pick a weapon up. It's terrible.
That's if they knew it was him. That's if they knew it was him.
Yeah.
Awful, isn't it? Let's bring our correspondent, Ed Robinson. Dreadful news the week before Christmas, Ed.
Yeah, it's such sickening news about Anthony Crawler. He's from a boxing family. His father was a pro, so he's grown up around the game, and he's a massive fan of the sport. You'll never see him in a grudge match, for example. Whenever he did a head-to-head with John Murray ahead of their fight, he just couldn't help but break into a smile, and old rival Dave Matthews was quick to tweet his support. Anthony's just a guy that everyone warms to and respects. It's not long ago that another Manchester fighter was the victim of vicious attack. Glenn mentioned it there. Jamie Moore has made a good recovery, thankfully, and I spoke to him a few minutes ago. Jamie, it's such shocking news about Anthony Crawler, and he's so well liked in Manchester, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is, Ed. I don't think you'll come across anyone in the boxing scene or around Manchester for that matter who has come across Anthony and has got a bad word to say about him. He's such a nice kid.
At the moment, it just seems like very, very bad luck that he was in that situation.
Yeah, apparently he's tried to go and help a neighbour who seemed to be in trouble with a robbery, and unfortunately, the incident's happened. He's tried to chase him off, and he's come unstuck. But I can't imagine what the situation was to be in, and what obviously his family and stuff are going through now.
The first consideration is obviously his health and him getting back to full health, but it's going to be a tough road back, especially with the boxing. We don't know for sure whether he'll be able to box again with the injuries.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing that the injury is quite bad, but we haven't yet heard whether he's going to be able to carry on with his career or not. I mean, it must be such a devastating blow if that is going to be the case. But as you said, first and foremost, you've got to forget about world title shots and things like that. His health is primary concern at the minute. I mean, I was in a situation similar where, I was in a dangerous sort of situation and my health was at risk, but my boxing career was over, and I did think, I wonder how that would have affected me, or my injury would have affected me if I was still active as a boxer. But, for Anthony to still be fighting and coming into his prime, fingers crossed he can overcome this and carry on with his career, but, it is worrying times for him.
He's grown up in boxing because his father was professional and well thought of in Manchester. He's trained all of his life to get to this stage, to get a world title shot that was scheduled for the new year. It's going to be devastating just coming to terms with the fact that fight's off.
Of course it is, Ed, but, again, you've got to just think about the main thing is his health, and I'm sure if he can overcome this and get back to full health, then Eddie Hearn will be able to manoeuvre him and get him another shot. But we've just got to make sure that he's fit and well first and foremost.
And will everyone in Manchester rally round Anthony?
Oh, listen, Ed, the boxing fraternity is renowned for doing stuff like that. We've seen it in the past when things have happened, and no doubt we'll all get together, and whatever is needed, whatever help's needed, and whatever financial support or anything like that is needed, we'll all rally together and make sure it's done.
Good to talk to you, Jamie, despite the circumstances.
Yeah, cheers, Ed. Thanks, mate.
and Anthony became a proud father last year. Your heart really goes out to the family.
Let's be optimistic. Kel came back, Jamie came back. After the Kieran Fowle fight, the drama, Anthony's got to be strong enough to...
Of course he has. I think that he's mentally strong anyway. We've seen that in his performances in the ring. So, he can overcome this. It's going to be difficult. Of course it is, but I'm sure he can overcome it. He's a tough kid.
And a nice kid.
He's a lovely kid, and, the good thing is he's okay. It could have been a massive tragedy. It's bad enough, and obviously he's going to really feel it. Not getting his world title shot yet, but knowing the character of the guy, real fighter, like my little pal beside me. He'll be back, and he'll be fighting, and I know he'll be back to world title.
Fighter's spirit. Eh? We wish Anthony a speedy recovery. Let's hope he makes it back into the ring. Obviously, he'll have to work for that world title chance, but Andy Lee took his with both hands last weekend, while Amir Khan dazzled. It was a double success for our boys. More after the break. Welcome back to Ringside. We've been talking about the terrible situation involving Anthony Cross. Let's move on to some brighter news. Spencer and Glenn are with us, and both of you must have been impressed with Amir Khan's masterclass in Vegas.
Yeah. I think for me, personally, I think it was a career best performance. I think that he'd done everything right. He was boxing on the front foot, on the back foot. He was countering the southpaw jab. Amir Khan's got a tremendous record against southpaws. We see it against Collazo, we saw it against Zab Judah. That's when he puts in his career best performances. And there, I think we saw, a polished Amir Khan. I thought that it was punch perfect. I think that he definitely warrants him. He's shouting out for this fight against Mayweather, and I think on a performance like that, that's a mouthful.
For me, the thing that was better. Now we know Khan. Amir's been a top class boxer. He's got all the skills. He's got everything. What was different and what he's done, which I think is brilliant, is he's managed to change his temperament, because he's always had. The red mist had come down. He's just got that react straight away. He'd react whenever he got
discipline.
Now suddenly. He takes a step back, looks at it, weighs it up, and then attacks again. And that's a much better fighter.
Do you know what we've done? We saw that briefly in round 8. In round 8, he had the worst round of the fight, and that's when a little bit of that red mist come over. He started standing there trading, started getting caught with a couple of shots. And I think a lot of that's down to Virgil Hunter and the change of camps, and it's worked for him perfectly, because round 9 he went back to his boxing and he looked beautiful again. So I think he's overcome that sort of standing there trading, playing meeting fire with fire, and I think that it was a great performance. Glenn, best performance.
Glenn, you usually get caught up in the moment when you're actually ringside watching it. You were awake at night time watching this. Was you as impressed as we were inside?
Very much so, very much so. I thought it was an excellent display. I agree with Spencer. That was a career best performance, because he finally showed, as I said, we know he's got the skills, we know he's got the power. He's just had trouble with that temperament because of that little angry streak where he'd retaliate. All of a sudden, Virgil Hunter has managed, and you saw Virgil Hunter, what a great job he did in the corner. He was shouting at him, he was having a go, he was getting his attention, and Amir totally reacted and did the right thing at all times.
He gave us that superb boxing display to win the world welterweight title against Andreas Kotelnik. He was excellent against Zab Judah as well. But Devon Alexander, you've got a really classy former two-weight champion who looked lost.
Yeah, totally lost. I think that's because Amir countered his southpaw jab. He was pulling the jab down, coming over with his own shot, and the hand speed of Amir Khan. And the difference between them was Alexander throws punches in 1s and 2s. Khan's hand speed, 4s and 5s clusters. And also, I think that the welterweight weight division suits Amir Khan much better. He's so big for the weight, and I think that's what makes a massive difference.
Spencer, what I spotted at ringside was how he was moving. He was gliding around. It was almost like Mayweather-esque.
Well, I think a lot of that is down to the weight issues and stuff as well, because he was always massive for a light welterweight, and I think that the welterweight division suited him. It's a combination of that, him teaming up with Virgil Hunter, losing that red mist that Glenn was talking about. I think that he just seems to be at the best point of his career right now.
Also, I think he's got the confidence in his own ability. Where as a younger fighter, he was always on his toes, bouncing around. He'd get caught.
I think he was trying to find himself
when he was moving, and that would make him vulnerable. All of a sudden, when he sits down, plants his legs on the feet, he's confident. He's not vulnerable anymore. But you notice his defence was good. He could stand in front of Alexander. He could take a shot. Where before you'd see him, because he was moving about, you'd see him get hit and the legs would go. Yeah. All of a sudden, good, strong
And
base.
the other thing is this, Glenn, do you think he improves better as you step up the opponents? You know, the fights you expect him to struggle with, that's when he shocks us.
I think it's experience. I think it's Virgil Hunter's got a lot to do with it. He's getting settled in his own skin. He knows where he is. You know, he's come through some heavy criticism. You know, I've criticised him in the past, as we all have, and he's come through. So he shows that he's got a good resilience. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he knows he's got the confidence in his own ability.
It's experience and the trade, basically.
We bumped into him, didn't we, at the airport in Vegas? He was on our flight home.
He had a mad smile on his face, a glass of champagne in first class. The pilot even gave him a big shout out on the plane. I thought, you know what? That's a champion's way home.
And carrying his belt, you know, back home. What a wonderful feeling.
I told him he will not sleep for a week. He's in the Champs Club.
No, absolutely superb. What's next for Andy Lee, and also what's the latest on the Mayweather-Pacquiao Khan Brooks situation? Bring us up to speed.
Well, we heard him say there that he wants his next defence, Andy Lee, to be in Ireland, and his mandatory is Billy Joe Saunders, a fellow southpaw who was in line to box Matt Corrigan. There's plenty of respect there. It's a really interesting fight. I don't know who you'd pick for that, Spencer.
Well, it'll be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Billy Joe Saunders lives just up the road from me, so I've got to go with Billy Joe, if I'm honest. He's a lovely guy and a great fighter, and I think that he proved that against Eubanks. He put in a great performance, pulling through against Eubanks, and I think that's only going to enhance his chances of winning the world title, but a real mouth-watering contest in there. It's a tough one. It's a real 50-50 pick.
I've got to go for Andy Lee, or I'll not get in the house tonight.
I was going to say, you know, he's had a good second half of the year. Andy Lee, he's been, you know, overlooked a lot of the times.
He has, you know, he's always just felt a little bit short, just been in the shadows a little bit. So it's great that he got this opportunity, and when he did, he pulls off the punch and the fight of his life, and wins, you know, a title for Ireland. And Ireland's really on the buzz at the minute, isn't it? With Cole Frampton, with Katie Taylor. I mean, it's great.
Superb.
Can I just say it was great for Adam Booth as well, because he had David Hay, who was a natural talent. Similar kind of situation to Virgil Hunter having Andre Ward, and Virgil Hunter showed that he could do it again with Amir Khan, and then we saw with Adam Booth what it meant to him getting Andy Lee. He's a great trainer, isn't he?
Yeah, lovely story with Adam Booth and Emmanuel Stewart, isn't it? You know, a real feel-good one.
Very, very much so. It's tough to fill the shoes of someone like Emmanuel Stewart, but Adam Booth, you know, he's come in, done a great job. Never looked to be Emmanuel Stewart, just to do what he does. You know, boxing Booth done it really, really well, and you know, big congratulations go to him.
And it shows you the hard work and dedication and how it pays off. I mean, Andy Lee's done it the hard way, hasn't he? He went over to the States. He never ducked anybody. He's been in some tough fights, and it's all paid off for him.
And the welterweight division is also intriguing, with everyone waiting on the next move for Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Manny Pacquiao, and the one man who probably decides the future of the others, Floyd Mayweather. We've heard Floyd and Manny talk up their long-anticipated fight, but Kell is due back in March, and he may face the winner of the eliminator between Canadian-based duo Ion Dan and Kevin Bizier, but we've just got to wait and see what happens with Mayweather. That date of May the 2nd looks booked for Cotto against Canelo Alvarez, so I think he's under real pressure, Mayweather, to have a proper opponent in either Manny Pacquiao or Amir Khan.
How does the chips fall? How would you, in an ideal world, how do you think it's going to fall? Mayweather, Khan, Brook, Pacquiao. How do you think?
I think the fight everyone wants is what we've been wanting for years, isn't it? It's Mayweather, Pacquiao. I think that's what the public want, not just the boxing fans. I think the general public want to see that because they're two best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and it's been a fight that everybody's been talking about. And the worry about that fight is that if it goes on any much further, they'll both be past their best, and we won't get the fight that we really should have. So that's the fight we really want. But from a British boxing fan point of view, I'd love to see Amir Khan against Mayweather, because I think Amir Khan's style is.
Do you think that's easier than Pacquiao?
Sorry?
Do you think that's easier than the Pacquiao fight?
No, I think the Mayweather fight for Amir Khan.
Easier.
For Amir Khan, the Mayweather fight, the styles. I'm talking about styles here. I think Pacquiao's style would be all wrong for Amir Khan, but I think Amir Khan's style would be all wrong for Mayweather. We're getting very technical.
Despite the fact that Khan's good against southpaws.
No, absolutely, yeah. Oh, 100%. It's all about styles, Adam. I think at that level, it's all about styles.
Danger, power.
Speed, power, aggression. I think that will draw Amir Khan in. He'll have to stand there and fight at one point.
For me, it's all about Money Mayweather. It's down to him. It's what he wants to do. Remember, he's got a legacy that he wants to fulfill. He wants to get out undefeated. He wants to be able to say he was the greatest ever and be able to prove that. There's one name that he can't overlook, and that's Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
He can't overlook him.
Totally
His career, he'll never have that legacy because people will always say, but you never fought Manny Pacquiao. So he'll pick the right time to fight Pacquiao, and it could be next.
It certainly seems stateside that it's more likely to happen than ever. Mayweather coming out, Pacquiao responding, the pressure, the public, Showtime want it. Is it going to happen, Mayweather Pacquiao?
I hope so. By the time it possibly can happen, May the 2nd, if that's the date, Mayweather will be 38. It was Manny Pacquiao's 36th birthday yesterday, so it's got to happen now or never, really.
Fingers crossed. Coming up, some really good unseen action as well from last weekend in the States as hot talent Errol Spence aimed to sparkle at the MGM.
When they go out.
We're watching the Texan southpaw Errol Lee Spence, the 24-year-old from DeSoto. In fight number 15, he's won all 14-11 by knockout, so he can punch. Just hasn't managed to put away Javier Castro yet. He's done everything else, though. Very, very one-sided rounds, the first three. As he spears in another left. Very accurate, isn't he?
No, he's perfect. I mean, he wastes nothing. I'd be interested to know what the corner are telling him. Are they quite happy he gets a few rounds in, or do they want to get this guy out of there? But I mean, Castro is still competitive, doing whatever he can. But nah, I mean, that's lovely, lovely. Just doing exactly as he pleases. Another punch knocking one to the heels.
Left hand is absolutely superb. It really is from Spence. Made the quarterfinals in London. I think the professional game may be better suited to him. He's going to be really difficult to fight against, this southpaw. Did get some rounds against Ronald Cruz. Went 10, but most of his finish around about this mark. Just trying to get closer and closer, Castro, but as he does, he walks into counters.
I mean, it's just as well Spence has got himself in good shape, though, because, I mean, this fellow, as long as he's in there, is going to keep coming forward. And he is making Spencer work if he's doing nothing else. You know, he's not trying to make it easy for himself. You know, some of the older stagers would just be tucking up and trying to cut down damage limitation, but no, he keeps coming forward, playing his part, but that straight left lead again.
Did go 10 rounds with Anton Novikov in May, so he is durable, Castro. Corner just wanting to continue throwing shots, Castro, which he's doing. Winding in the hooks, maybe sensing at some stage Spence will slow down, but that's a lovely body shot again from Spence. Even under attack, he finds the crisp work.
I mean, Castro's putting him under pressure, not with punches, just with staying on him, not giving him a second to draw breath. So he's got to be in shape, because if this continues, there's no signs that Castro's going to stop coming forward.
He's backpedaling, Jim Spence. Would it be better to get on the front foot, drive some of these shots home?
Well, I might feel that he's hitting with as good as he can hit him and as hard as he can hit him when he's still there. Maybe he's settling for a points win, I don't know.
Looking so tired, Castro, as he goes back to his corner. Just a gulp of breath there from Errol Spence as he comes out for the second half of this welterweight contest. Spence in the red and white, and the Mexican colours down the side of Javier Castro.
Castro is making him work, you know, he's on him all the time, trying to push him back. I mean, landing absolutely nothing, but making him work every second. So as I said earlier, just as well, we'll get them in good shape.
Hasn't won, Castro, since April 2012 back in Mexico City, losing on his travels. And Spence notching up win after win and then driving these body shots home. You wonder how much he can take. Castro tries his own body shot. That left hook famed for the Mexican fighters, but that's a better shot back, and it did hurt him. Spence may get a breakthrough, and it's early in the 5th round. Winded there, Castro, and I don't know how much more we want to see of this, Jim.
No, I'd have been happy, but as I say, it's not the referee's fault. These are terrific punches. I mean, now the referee really, there's the excuse he needs. Get in there and get him out of there.
This fight should be stopped. It should have been stopped 10, 20 seconds ago. But still, Robert Byrd allows it to go on, and he does come back with something. But once he was on the front foot there, Spence had the job done.
Adam, a good referee would be looking for a reason to get that fight out of there. He's getting beaten up. And that was the reason that the referee decided not to take it. Just because he's tough, just because he can manage to stay in there, is not good reason to do it.
The corner not flinching either. No towel, nothing.
Now, the referee really should have stepped in there. Every excuse. So that was a shellicking he took there.
Having to keep them up. Sustained punishment, a beating is what's happening, and it's not nice to see. 50 seconds left in the 5th. You just sort of want Spence to find 1 or 2, maybe body shots. But Castro keeps coming forward.
Like 20 seconds.
Well, I mean, he's landed 2 terrific body shots in this round. They've just taken everything out of Castro. Even now, the referee can get him out of there. Even now.
And another one. How much more does he have to take? This is becoming crazy, and finally Robert Byrd steps in. But my word, I think that was way too late. Errol Spence makes it 15 out of 15. He thinks he's going to be a star. I tell you what, he might be right.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people will agree with him. The terrific performance. Don't like to get on about referees too much, Adam, but I mean, that was poor refereeing. A good referee, after the first few rounds that weren't in the slightest competitive, a good referee's looking for an excuse to get him out of there. He had plenty of excuses, didn't take them until he was almost out on his feet.
I'm just being passed something from the Showtime colleagues here at Ringside. 59 of the 84 punches landed in that final round. I mean,
look at this. What is the point allowing this to continue? Because a guy is tough enough to take a pounding, is that a sensible reason to allow it to happen? What is wrong with the referee here? He's not seeing what we're seeing. It was never competitive, he was never in the fight, he never looked like he was getting into the fight, and the referee standing watching him taking a complete pounding. Solid. I mean, look at these punches. They couldn't be landing any more cleanly, and eventually in he goes.
Very brave and spirited, but was in there too long, Javier Castro. As for this man, Errol Spence, the future is bright, just like the smile. And you know what? He's in the welterweight division too. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time of 2 minutes, 43 seconds in round number 5. A referee stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout, Errol Spence Jr.
You were waxing lyrical about how good you thought he was at Ringside.
You know what? I've never seen a current fighter that talented. I thought the kid, you know, obviously apart from the Khan fight, stole the night. Outstanding. Unbelievable outstanding. He was just second to none. He reminded me of a fighter called Michael Nunn, actually.
I think you're right. Michael second to none was a great fighter in his day as well, wasn't he? But I think he's one of the best talents out there at the moment. It's the first time I've had the chance to get a look at him, and he was punch perfect. Southpaw, picking the shots, excellent array of shots, and he took a opponent there. You know, it was a good opponent as well. I think the referee was very late, by the way, in jumping in there. Maybe 2 rounds late, not 10 punches.
I wouldn't want him refereeing any of my fights.
Referee one of mine. I'd still be getting pommeled off Lennox now. but style-wise, you know, the young man was in the Olympics 2012. He was out in the quarterfinals, but he was one of those fighters that just managed to slide under the radar and develop himself as a pro.
Well, you can see how he's developing so well as a pro. He really boxes with a a proper pro style. You know, he's first of all, you look at his base. You know, very good base. His feet are firmly planted on the floor. He's not moving out of range. He's staying in range, so he's got good confidence. You know, he's in with a tough guy, but he's quite happy to stand right in front of him, hitting to the body, hitting to the head. Lots of variation. I mean, I think we're going to hear a lot more of him.
Controls the ring beautifully too. He's been sparring with Mayweather. He's a southpaw and he's in the welterweight division. Hello.
Yeah, I know. Another name, as Glenn said, I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about him. I think he just takes that little shuffle back, just out of step, just pulls back out of range and carries phenomenal power. And that's all down to his balance. I think you know, he gets every bit of weight into every shot and really picks him so well.
You can always Spencer, you can always tell a good fighter when they're confident enough to stay in range, when they're relaxed, even if you know the opponent starts throwing punches back and he just covers up, stays, you know, he's right there ready to fight back. Now that takes confidence, and you can tell that he's been sparring with some top fighters, because he shows, is it 15th fight I think that was, but he shows a lot more than that. You know, he looks like a champion.
You hear gym rumours. Now the gym rumour going around was that he either cut or put Mayweather down.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
I could believe that. You got to remember, this is a young, fresh, talented kid coming through. Mayweather might have gone in there, took it a bit easy, thinking, you know, all fighters do that. We've all done it in the past. You go in there thinking, yeah, I've got a young kid coming through. I've got a young kid coming through, and just maybe switched off. That kid has got power in either hand that could damage a fighter.
Just quickly, Glenn, how fast do you move Errol Spence over the next year or two?
Well, he's 24. He looks very, very capable. I think he's not far away, is he? You know, you think 3 or 4 fights, and then they're going to be looking to get the bottom end of the top 10. They're going to be looking for names like that. I mean, I think they've got a lot of confidence in him.
Very exciting, isn't it, Errol Spence? Our thanks to Glenn and to Spencer. See you for our review show. Look forward to it when we look back at all the highs and lows since the summer. That's next Tuesday the 23rd, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1, and enjoy some of our best action on Monday the 29th at 11 o'clock, Sky Sports 1, greatest knockout, straight on the back of Liverpool-Swansea at Anfield.
Are you taking the kids there to that one?
I am. I'm going to that.
11 o'clock it finishes, you know. I'm just saying.
A great season. And of course, Johnny, though, we wish Anthony Crolla all the very best, don't we?
Yeah, you know what? Get well soon, my friend, and your health's most important.
Yeah, let's hope the $1 million returns to the ring to do what he does best. Bye-bye.